the sheep. You've been told everything about not being the sheep, but I'm here to tell you we are made to be the sheep. So before you completely shut me off, hear me out, please. This is not another propaganda. This is not some mind trick, but a different way to view it and the remembrance of the truth. So please watch this to the end to understand what it is. I'm coming to you live from the pool here. When I swim, I get massive inspiration. And so here I am recording it. And I today was like, oh my gosh, we are made to be the sheep because we are the sheep. So often you see like, Jesus is your shepherd. God is your shepherd. You know, he leaves the 99 to find the one. And then we're here in the world at the level of form and we're like, don't be a sheep. Don't be a follower, be a leader. And I'm not saying don't be a leader at the level of form, meaning in this world, lead. But what I'm saying is in the mind that then projects out what appears to be doing. It is all about, we are meant to be the sheep. And the problem, I mean, it's not even a problem, right? Is that we have the shepherd wrong. We have the shepherd wrong. We believe that things outside of us are our shepherd. So if we think of the propaganda of don't be the sheep, be the leader, be the lion, be in charge, that is the belief that people are, you know, following government, being told what to do, all of these things at the level of form. But often those same people saying that are not often, always are also being sheep at the level of form. It's just to something else. It's to power, right? When you put in the forefront, I need to be a leader or I am not successful, then what you've done is you've created leadership. You've created power as your shepherd, and you are still a sheep. You are still at the whim of that happening or not happening. You're completely setting up your life, what appears to be at the level of form, what you're doing to try to obtain that goal. And how often do we fail? We fail all of the time. You know, we fail so much that we've created a whole personal development world to understand why we're failing, but then to also say failure is good. Failure is what needs to happen. I'm not saying failure is bad. I'm saying it's the step before that of even seeing failure, but instead seeing everything as divinely occurring exactly as it should. In some days that may appear that you are a sheep. It may appear that you are a leader at the level of form, but it is all about where you are at the mind of being like, I am a sheep to the true shepherd. The shepherd that I believe is Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit. That is my shepherd. Therefore, if I follow that shepherd, I promise you it does not matter at the level of form what it looks like. And so today I was swimming, I was just like, oh my gosh, that is why we have such conflict, because at the level of form we're saying don't be a sheep, that's bad. You're a follower, you're not a leader, you don't have any confidence, you're not a world changer. And mind you, look at some videos from me years ago when I was really building the unicorn effect and believing I was going to, change what leadership looked like. And not that I couldn't do that still with Jesus being my shepherd, but at that moment, my shepherd was success. My shepherd was money. My shepherd was showing people my worth through that of form. And so bring this to you because that's why we get so confused, because we're telling ourselves don't be sheep. And it's not about not being sheep. It's about realizing the true sheep that you are. We hear about the observer sitting in the observer's chair. There's the question of who is the I when we speak of, the I am. And that is what I am talking about. When you are truly observer and understand who your true shepherd is, that is when everything flows. That is where peace is located. And the problem is we get stuck along the way by making things outside of us our shepherd. And, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's fame, sometimes it's, our bodies. The list goes on. The ego has made so many of them. I can make a massive list for you. If you need more, let me know. But then sometimes we're like, okay, I'm not going to make any of that my shepherd, but instead Ashley, the persona of Ashley as my shepherd. But that is still not the observer, right? That is still the observer seeing something outside of themselves as the shepherd, which is Ashley, instead of the observer understanding that they are one with the true shepherd, which is God, which is Jesus, which I don't care what name you give it, the divine Buddha, but it is the grander that then is you. So I find myself getting caught up lately in making Ashley the shepherd again, because she has so many random preferences and they change all the time. So I feel like I worked through a lot of the larger societal things, and then now I'm stuck in this like Ashley is my shepherd, instead of, Ashley's outside of the observer as well. So it's about the observer deciding who their true shepherd is. And there's these layers that the ego creates, and there's so many layers within the level of form. And one of the hardest layers to grasp is that of the body, which has a name, which has a persona, has preferences, has all these things. And that has been the beauty of our travels, is seeing how often I make Ashley a shepherd because I see her preferences. So I'm here to say, be a sheep, but remember who the shepherd is, right? Be a sheep to shepherd that is truth, the shepherd that is guiding you to peace, true internal peace, no matter what it looks like at the level of form. So yeah, I hope this resonated with you. I hope this goes through, but I just had to come and share, because like, oh my gosh, we are meant to be sheep. Yeah, maybe not what we're used to, but if you're telling yourself to become something at the level of form and placing all of your weight in that, seeking your happiness backpack, you still are being a sheep. So it's not about untying the sheep. Like, that is your innate state, is to be fully dependent, right? And so in the illusion, we're constantly passing the buck, but the truth is finding, I am fully dependent. I am a sheep. I just had the shepherd wrong. I just had what I am dependent on wrong, misguided, a convoluted vision of it, right? Just an obscured one, but it's always there, and it's always welcome to have you back. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Ashley, coming to you live from the pool. I have inspiration all the time in the pool. Maybe I will come to you more. Swimming is my meditation. I would love to hear below, when do you feel most connected to the divine? What activity are you doing? Because ultimately it doesn't matter at the level of form. It's about what activates the being. And until I've fully become this enlightened being and fully have overcome my ego stories, it still is helpful to find something at the level of form to really tap in. So much love. As always, please remember you're worth it. Go be the sheep, but just skew who your shepherd is. Bye-bye.